Good morning. I'm Becky Moats, and I'm going to go through a quick little training slideshow, either for treasure hunters or for the students who are planning their I&I ceremony. So let's get started. Step one is to educate your career association. What is an I&I ceremony? What is its purpose? What are the goals that the career association wants to achieve by this event? This is an opportunity to market, network, advertise, and connect students to people in your community. And it's a great time for parents to actually see firsthand what the JFG program is all about. You may want to do this by showing some videos of other I&I ceremonies. There are a lot of videos out there of different ceremonies, and you don't have to stick with just I&I. When I did this my first year, I gave students programs, and we watched videos of wedding ceremonies, of Boy Scout events, of Rotary, Kiwanis, all of those things, and the kids picked out little snippets of different ceremonies that they liked and that they wanted to incorporate into ours. So I also want every student in the state of Florida that's in our JFG programs to really understand the purpose of this event and to honor it. It needs to be a reverent event as well as fun and exciting for the kids. And so I tell mine, this is like a wedding ceremony. You are marrying into the JFG program. And if you do well, uh, you become a JAG member for life, and you will have connections for the rest of your life, just like a marriage ceremony. So we want it to be impactful on them in that level. Step two, themes and budgeting. Before you can get to the real fun stuff, we got to get down to the nitty gritty. So once your students understand the purpose of the event, they understand what an I&I is, um, it's time to start making some important decisions so we can actually start the fun of planning and organizing it. So first of all, hopefully you have elected your officers, because we need people in charge to conduct the meetings, to do the voting, so we can make these decisions happen quickly. And because they're learning these roles, please don't get bogged down in all of those very specific rules for officers right now, because we're in crunch time. We got to get this I&I off the ground. So the officers can learn their role as the year goes on, but we need some decisions. So, number one, what's going to be our theme for the event? Once you get your theme in place, it's going to help you design the program, the invitations, the decorations, the refreshments. So, you really need to have that theme down. My recommendation is throw some theme ideas at them and let them vote, especially if you already have some decorations. Maybe your school had prom last year and you have prom decorations over left over that you could utilize. So be smart about it. If your community held a parade or some kind of big event, piggyback off of that. This year is an election year. There's all kinds of red, white, and blue flags at Dollar Tree. So you may want to take advantage of things already easily accessible to you. Know what your budget is. Find out how much money is in the account and what you got to work with. I would not spend a lot of money on this. If you plan early, a lot of the little decorations, you don't need a lot to make it pop. Um, but a lot of it can be made. So you can steal ideas, though. I'm totally good with stealing ideas, and I'm going to show you how to do that in just a moment. And then you got to decide how you want to structure your committees. Committees are extremely important to organizing any event or any project you have going on. So you need to decide how you're going to structure your committees. Um, Decision making and voting. So now the kids know their purpose, their goals, they got their theme, they know how much money they have to work with. The groups have now set up committees. If you want to make it easy, you can do committees just like laid out in this and assign them a specific thing. I do committees for like refreshments, decoration. I have a group that's good with computers, design the program and write out the script. So just depending on your group and what works for you. But now it's time to make decisions: time, date, location of the event. Because we're in COVID, you need to first find out from your principal what are the policies that you currently have. There may be some decisions that are already made for you because of procedures in place. The kids need to vote on dress code. Um, you need to have 100% attendance expectation. If you're going to do something virtually, we need to discuss that with your group. They need to know how they're going to access a virtual experience, what they're going to dress and look like, and so forth. Determine a guest list. And of course, this may be virtually if you can't have them physically come into the school. Decide on speakers. I typically have three. The treasure hunter, me, myself, would be like the welcome. Then I usually have someone from a school board level or a principal to speak just super briefly, 3 minutes, about how they've been impacted by the program or their vision for the students in this program. And then later on in your script, you will have your keynote speaker that hopefully your career association has a hand in selecting. Plan how your guests will arrive. Many times schools have rules with driver's license, they have to do background checks and whatnot. So find out all of that and then find out how you can make that procedure go extremely smooth. Um, you need to have sign-in sheets with like pins or whatever they're going to need. If you want to have maybe some of your uh, business cards available, because a lot of people are going to be so impressed with what's happening there. And if you have business partners, they may ask for a business card. Sometimes I didn't do this myself, but I have seen other INIs where they have guest name badges because guests had told in advance who was coming. Uh, Decide on if you're going to have it uh, video recorded, photographed. Who's going to take care of that? Doesn't have to be professionally. It doesn't have to cost money. There's a lot of volunteers that would be willing to do that. If you're in high school, you may have some high school students that are willing, to assist in that. Also, extremely important, you really want to have an event assistant for you, an adult, because many times at these events, you're going to be caught up doing something and you need another adult who knows the flow and knows the plan and can answer questions and can help things move along.
Okay, so now before we go into the next slide, this slide is mainly for the treasure hunter teacher, but it's also if you're sharing this with students, it's good for them to hear as well. So now that you have established your committees to help organize and implement all the different parts for the INI ceremony, um, we just want you to really embrace this process. And it is hard for teachers and adults to turn things over, but we want this to be a real authentic experience for the students and for them to be impacted by the INI ceremony. You will be amazed at what these students can accomplish when given the power to make decisions and to go through the process of organizing this event. And if they are successful, which I'm sure they will be, it's going to build their confidence. They're going to take pride and ownership of the JFG program because they have now a true stake in it. They have had a hand in uh, making this program successful. And once you see them be successful, you will have confidence in their abilities as well. So just a plug before we go on to the next slide. Step 4, organizing your event. So you have your budget in place, you have established your work teams or committees, and you can set up your committees whatever way works best for you. I had my committees in um, almost like skill level or talent level. So I had my professional office skill committee, I had my tech committee, I had my arts and crafts committee, and my organizational committee. And then we kind of divvied out all of these different tasks to those committees. Some people want to have task committees. So, whichever way works best for you. But these are the actual like tasks that need to be accomplished. Number one, entertainment as the audience enters. So if you have set up your I&I ceremony and you're going to have people that come to this event and maybe they get there 30 minutes early, what are you going to have for them to interact with and to learn about your program? So some people have digital slideshows going of just pictures going on. You've already accomplished and finished your digital vision board. So that's a nice thing that could be scrolling on um, a screen, just having like a slideshow. Uh, some of you have talent right in your program. Some students know how to play piano or guitar. So incorporate the talents that are already existing in your program. Um, my example from last year is we went with a theme of casino theme, and one of my students was an amateur magician, so he was the entertainment before the event started. He was doing magic shows and interacting with the audience, and it was cool. We also got band members to be a part of the program, which you can watch in the video later. Sign in. This is your opportunity to connect and network. So as people come in and sign in, and I know with COVID, you may not have real live guests, so you need to think this process through. But in the sign in sheet, I would have, if they are a parent, a business partner, a community leader, or a school staff, like a district staff person. And then I would say, there was a column where they could check off what level of involvement they would be willing to be involved. So we had guest speakerships, job shadowing, interns, field trips, uh, fundraisers to help us with fundraisers, or just volunteer in the classroom. So I had that kind of set up along with the sign in and a place for them to put their contact number and email. Invitations, programs, decorations, refreshments, supply list, assignment of those things. So when my group was uh, writing down all the different supplies we needed for all the different things that were going on, that supply list group also assigned certain students. They would say, well, my Kyria is going to bring in the black tablecloth that we need for this. So and so is going to bring in a lamp. So and so is going to bring in a feather boa, just depending on what you're doing. The flow of the event, the script, and your timeline management. Timeline management is a huge, big deal because you need to make sure things get done in sequential order so you're ready and set and have time to rehearse, to have a smooth ceremony. The flow in the script, that is probably the most important part of this because number one, the officers and treasure hunters, they're going to work out the details of the script, but the script is actually what will determine the flow, who's going to speak, how long their sections will take, how will they transition from one speaker to the other. So rehearsing with the officers multiple times before the event is essential. In my program, we mapped out everything was going to happen. The students, the whole class, walked through it several times on paper. The officers one-on-one with me, we rehearsed their parts of it, and then we actually only had 2 full-blown rehearsals with the whole class in the area that we were going to have the event. We practiced the actual walkthroughs. It's a good idea to even tape off sections, like if you want someone to stand there, if you need the students to walk in a certain path, So tape is a really good idea. It's a fantastic idea if you have someone in your community who leads like theatrical productions to help you with this process, because it is very much like producing a play. Everybody has a part to play. They have scripts to know, they have lines to meet, they have, positions on the stage or entrance. So it's very much like a play in the long run. Your students are going to be very prideful of the event if it goes off smoothly, and we know it will go off smoothly if they are going through this slideshow and doing all of the different steps to prepare. So you do want to take time to really celebrate their accomplishments. Think about awards that you may want to give out to special students who went far and above your expectations. Um, you also don't forget organizing the pack up procedure. A lot of people put so much effort and energy into organizing this amazing event, but then they forget about the packing up of the event. And so sometimes after the events, parents take kids home, they check them out, or sometimes it's in the evening and the treasure hunter is stuck all by herself packing up, or himself packing up all of these supplies. So make sure you plan for that. You may even want to teach students how to fold tablecloths or whatever you're going to be packing up. If there's glass or candles, you want to show them in advance how to do that, and have markers and supplies to label your boxes. Plan for a celebration after the event so you can recognize the accomplishments. You can give out some of those awards or certificates for special services that some of the students provided. This is a great time for that self-reflection, and we always want to include self-reflection in any project that we do. We want the students to go through that process. What went well? What do I need to tweak for the next time we do a big event like this? And that's where the learning takes place, that corrective feedback element. And we want to teach them always to self-reflect on things that they have learned from it, things that they would do differently. And then these last slides are just resources that are going to help you and your students plan for the event. The first one has nothing to do with JFG. It's just a great website on how to plan events. So if you have your planning committee, your organizing committee, they may want to take a look at this and take some notes from it and incorporate some of the things they learn from that website into planning their I&I. This party theme link, I'm not getting a cutback or something from Shindigs. It's just a really great site with a lot of cool pictures of different party themes. And your students may steal from that. I'm a big advocate of stealing ideas from others. So you can go on there and maybe order a few things that are within your budget, but then see what things can we actually make ourselves. I have included sample video of an I&I ceremony, a sample script, a sample invitation, and a sample program. These were from mine. I am not saying, in fact, I don't want people to think that we're expecting a very similar event. This is your student's event. They're going to plan. This is just to give you some ideas about what it may look like in the end. I have also included all of the resources that are available to you in your toolkit, but I thought I would embed them in the slideshow. So if you're sharing this with your students, they have easily access to some of the resources that are provided from the JFG program. So the I&I timeline link is here, the proposed script. So I would, whenever I do this with my students, we have as many scripts as I can get my hands on. And then the students kind of tweak what they want to incorporate, what they want to change, what they want to make their own. And then they come up with their proposed script. But the proposed script is a nice example of just a very simple, streamlined flow of how the program will go. Organizing the I&I PDF, I actually embedded that on the next slide because I wanted to take pictures and actually implement it right in this slide. This timeline is very important so that you don't run out of time or you don't miss something. So please follow this timeline to help you stay on track with meeting deadlines for your event. And the last one is just some tips about organizing the INI, and pretty much the slideshow incorporated almost everything from this sample. So you may want to go ahead and print this as almost like a hard copy of the things that you and the students learned from this webinar. All right, everybody, good luck. We have confidence you're going to have a great ceremony and an amazing event. If we can help in any way, just reach out. Good luck.